Good evening and welcome to another unboxing video. Tonight we're going to be looking at Wreck and Ruin. So Wreck and Ruin is a Kickstarter game. It was kickstarted a few times and was successful in its third attempt after much hard work and determination from the designer, Mark McKinnon. Now, Mark McKinnon has formed a company here, Dream Big Games, and he's actually a local guy, and I've seen the hard work and the passion behind this project. He's been travelling to different conventions, demoing it, asking people to volunteer, trying to get lots of feedback from people to improve the game. I remember, this would have been a couple of years now, where he brought one of the early prototypes to one of our local meets, and he was trying to get people playing it. So yeah, this has been a kind of labour of love, and I'm really pleased to see it come to fruition. And I think Mark is over the moon that he's been able to bring this out and that it's finally been realised. So you can probably tell from the cover, it's quite obvious what the theme of this one is. It's set in a post-apocalyptic setting, and we've got here vehicular violence in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. So if you've seen things like Mad Max or Fallout, it's kind of inspired by those sorts of settings. It plays from 2 to 4 players, and it plays in about 40 to 80 minutes. Which I've not actually played the game, but I think it sounded about right. From seeing the game being played and looking at the rule set, it looks like it would be one of these miniatures games that doesn't take quite as long to play as most. And recommended age rating is 14 plus. Okay, so you can see that the box art's really quite nice. It's very evocative of what you would expect from this type of game. We flip round to the back and you can see in all our glory, just to watch out for the glare there, that we have the board here with all the hexes. We've got 4 different factions. Now originally these were all going to be the same plastic molds for the 4 different types of vehicle, but because the third Kickstarter was so successful, the stretch goals for 2 of the sculpts were met. And because it funded at the end, Mark decided that it would be a bit odd just to have 3 unique sculpts and have one faction the same as another. So the Desert King here, he basically went ahead and decided to fund them having their own sculpts as well. So we've got 4 unique sculpts for the factions, which is brilliant, you know, and I'm really glad, because that really just, it gives you that feel of them being different as well. You can see we've got a collection of cards, there's some kind of hex tokens here, and it says in the back, dominate the wastes by commanding one of the 4 factions using a range of post-apocalyptic vehicles and unique abilities to outmaneuver and outgun your opponents. Tactically use your limited actions to grab your own objectives while simultaneously preventing other players from scoring in this King of the Hill combat game. Shoot, ram and wreck your way to victory. A seamless blend of board game skirmish and war game, this fast, frantic multiplayer combat game combines the thrill of vehicle combat with elements of objective grabbing and resource management. This is not a game of tutorial dispute, however, this is all-out war. Okay, and then it says here that it contains everything you need to play the game. There's a quick setup time, you know, and then it tells you the contents here, and that's really good. I like it when the contents are either in the rulebook or on the box, because it means that you can check, you know, that everything's there. So I like to have an inventory of what's in the game. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, we're going to open this up. So I'm just going to pop the cling film here. Turn that off. And yeah, the cover's really nice actually. It's really nice sheen to it. Now that we've got the cling film off, it's got a kind of glossy finish, and it feels really, cardboard's nice and thick, so it feels like a quality box. So that's always a good start. So we're going to pop open the box and have a look at the contents. Right, so I'll just set that up there in the back. So the first thing that we have here is the rulebook, okay, what gave that away, and that's a nice big A4 style rulebook, yeah, you can see here, Dream Big Games, difficult to try and get all this in shot, right, but flicking through it, you can see we've got full colour illustrations, I think there's some diagrams on damage. Yeah, attempting to wreck. You've got some art there from the factions. Yeah, vehicle sizes. So yeah, so rulebook looks all well laid out. Okay, yep. And I think there's some kind of lore, kind of flavour stuff at the back, telling you a wee bit more about the game world. So yeah, we can look at that in a wee bit more detail maybe in another video. Now, here we have a tray, and the tray here has all the minis, and it has slots for the cards. So yeah, so it looks like we've got a good insert. I quite like tray inserts, but my main issue with them is if you're storing the box upright or on its side, all the contents could fall out, especially when they're like wee tokens and things like that. Now, what's great about this is it's got one of these plastic covers, so you pop that on and that stops stuff moving around. So that's really good. So we'll pop this off, right? And we'll pop these cards to the side. So we've got some event cards, well, salvage cards, sorry. Some event cards, and then we also have, these are the faction cards here, so I think the factions have their own special abilities. We also have some tokens here. We have some smoke tokens, and then we have some flame tokens as well, and then we have some dice. So these are standard d6s, so they're kind of that's what I'd say is the Warhammer size. Is that 10 millimeters? So a bit smaller than, you know, your big double dice, but for a miniatures game, this is the ideal size. Okay, and you can see that we've got 5 for each colour, which corresponds to the factions. Okay, so let's have a wee look at the minis. So the minis, yeah, they're made of solid plastic. You can see there the detail. Let's have to try and let this focus. Yeah, the detail is pretty good. So these would look really nice, painted up. Even just, you know, a base coat and then a wee dry brush and a metallic colours, you know, and a wee wash, and these would look pretty good. Not that they don't already. And you can see there's little holes there for putting the tokens there. So I'll just show you that now. So say this big rig here is taking some damage. The way that you track that in this game, which I think is quite innovative. I'm sure there's maybe other games that have done this in the past, but you'll see very often. And yeah, basically you just pop in the little little tokens there, and that shows you, gives you a good visual indication of how much damage the vehicles have taken. It's really cool, I like that. And then obviously you've got these black ones here for the kind of darker smoke. Okay, so this is I think this is is this the salvos? I'm going to say it's the salvos, but I could be wrong. So yeah, it's a big pickup kind of rig truck thing, so yeah, that would make sense. So that would be their big rig. Here is their buggy, butterfingers there. So there's a buggy there. I'll just show you these really quickly. We've got the little bike there, and there's 2 of those, I believe. And then we've got the smaller buggy here. You can see the number of holes they have. This corresponds to the size of the vehicle. So the bigger vehicles can take more hits, which kind of makes sense. Here we've got, I think these are kind of, I can't remember the name of the faction, but they're the kind of raider faction, you know, the kind of like what you would find in Mad Max, the kind of crazy mental thug kind of guys. That's got a big battering ram. This one here got a wee gun on it. Yep. The big rig, oh, I like this. Look at this, it's got all the spikes on it. Yeah, that's looking good. And then you've got here the bike, guy in the bike, yeah. Excellent. Go over to the green faction. So these ones are, I think these are the army faction, they're quite high tech looking. Yeah, plus green, so it's like an army green, that would make sense. That looks like a kind of APC kind of thing that you would see, you know, in Aliens. You have here a tank kind of buggy. Yeah, that does look quite, yeah, it definitely looks like some sort of kind of Humvee kind of thing. And then you've got here a little kind of fragile kind of buggy looking thing, a gun emplacement, and then bikers, yeah. You've got a kind of trooper guy on a kind of fast light bike there, attack cycle. And then finally you've got the Desert Cannon, and this is probably the most unique faction. So we're very lucky to have these molds as well as the last one to be unlocked. So this is the big rig, which is like a big kind of well, I'd say it's like a big Triceratops, actually, if you look at it. I was going to say Stegosaurus, but actually looking at it, the head there, it's like a big Triceratops. Fantastic. We've got here, it's almost like a kind of dino rhino kind of thing. Yeah. And with the rider's got like a big, looks like a big kind of Gatling gun. That's really cool. Over here we have, like, so this is again, it's like almost like a kind of bearded dragon kind of iguana thing. And again, he's got a fairly big gun on that. And then finally, for the light vehicles, you've got, yeah, so it's like kind of like a, yeah, one of these kind of reptilian bipedal, so it's like it's a scaly ostrich. Yeah, brilliant. So okay, so that's all the plastic. So yeah, really impressed with that. It's nice and chunky, good quality stuff. So I'm just going to pop, I should have actually probably taken a note of where they all came from, but actually I'm just going to pop them in the box right now and I'll sort that later. Okay, so we'll now look at some of the tokens. So what else have we got in the box? Right, so we've got this here, which is a round tracker. So you can see the game is played over a certain number of rounds, and the number of rounds depends on the number of players. Okay, so the more players there are, the more rounds there are, because obviously the game will take longer with more players. You also have a baggie here, just for general components, but not really a big need for that, I think. Well, there will be for these components, but there's not a need for many baggies because you've got that lovely insert. Here you've got a reference sheet for each faction that tells you the basically all the stats, move, attack, armor, damage points, special skills, full throttle abilities, and then gives you again an example of the kind of crash and burn event thing, which is in the rulebook as well. So there's one of those for each of the 4 factions. Right, we also have one here for the quick start guide. So for getting started for a quick game, gives you the instructions to follow to get playing as soon as possible. So I think basically the idea is you would set this up according to this, and you would try and play the game, and then follow these. It gives you the basic outline of what you're doing in the game. And then if there was anything that you weren't sure about, you could look up the main rulebook from reference. So the idea is that this will try and get you playing as soon as possible. Okay, excellent. We also have here the board, which is modular. It's made up of these large hexagons with smaller hexagons. And they are double-sided as well. And I think that might have been one of the stretch goals, was to make these thicker or make more of them. So the different terrain types will be outlined in these different colours. Makes sense. So, yep, we've got there 2, 3, 4, and then we've got action point tokens there. Assuming that's what those are, which aren't double-sided, or are, well, yeah, they are just single-sided. Right, hang on, I'm just going to pull this out. Okay, and then we've got more of these boards here. So again, just more terrain, and then some other tokens. So you've got there the Rhinax, the drone, yep, various other tokens. You've got a setup area. So this is for, I think you'll need to put those in the corner of the board so that everybody will have their own setup area. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, which makes sense because in a 4-player game you would have 4 setup areas. So you just use the number of setup areas for the number of players. Okay, brilliant. So yeah, last thing really to look at would be the cards. Okay, so we've got a few decks of cards here. There's not tons of cards in this game. We have, first of all, the salvage cards. Okay, so I'm just going to open these up and have a look at the art and see what they're all about. Salvage. Are these all salvage? Yep. I thought these are all salvage cards. It's up to the back. So it's just text. And these all, I think, give you abilities in the game. So the Change of Heart. Play at the start of opponent's turn. Complete a move with one of their vehicles except the big rig. Cannot move boards into hazards. Give your opponent money. Okay. So you can basically because it's almost like maybe they've decided they've had a change of heart, they're panicking a wee bit, and instead of charging in, you can get them to retreat. So you play it on your opponents. So these are all little not events, but these are basically cards that you can play, I think, that alter the game state. They're like, you know, having wee tricks up your sleeve, you know, having a wee ace in the hole kind of thing. And I think it's a common deck, so they're not specific to faction. So they're a kind of common card deck, or common deck, but as you can see, it's quite a big deck, so there's quite a lot there. So that's pretty good. We also have event cards. So I think these are resolved, you know, between turns or the end of turns kind of thing. And there's not as many of these. Just fire that off there. So you see here, that's the event. And it just tells you the events are. So plain old bad luck. Damn, you just can't catch a break. Previous player can call bad luck against a single action. Okay, earthquakes, lucky day, slippery surface, engine trouble. So these are all things that can, you know, could happen, you know, to the environment or the vehicles. Fog cloud, hidden stash, out with a bang. And it looks like there's a good mix of good and bad stuff. Mainly bad, but then treasure hunt. No, that's not so good. Receive an extra AP for some. Yeah, so there's some good, there's some bad. So it's, I mean, it's equivalent of your chance or community chest in Monopoly. You know, it's just going to change the game and just give you a wee bit of variety. Finally, we have the faction decks. So this is them here. So there's only a few cards here, but that's because they relate to the factions. So it's their unique abilities. Okay, so here we go. There's our salvos. So they're all about the salvaging, and they've got abilities like vehicle schematics, inspiring leader, shield generator, weapons cache. We've got the Ruin Army. They're the kind of troopers, the Brotherhood, like in Fallout. And they'll have things like orbital laser, unmanned drone, supply, inception, and missile salvo. Yep, we have the Reapers, who are like your raiders, your bandits. Yeah, look very Mad Maxy. And they're hijack, sabotage, terrifying infamy, killing frenzy. Yep, that looks about right. And finally, you've got your Desertkin. These are like kind of the Fremen, the people of the world, you know. Beastmaster, Dust Hornet Swarm, and Wasteland Traps, and Adrenaline Surge. Okay, folks, so there you go. Okay, guys, so that was Wreck and Ruin. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you liked the video, please comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And also, please support Mark McKinnon and Dream Big Games. If you like the look of it, then yeah, just go check it out. And if it's for you, then I'm assuming it will come to retail at some point. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you around.